Hey, what's happening, everybody? Remember, the entertainment world has been put on hold for, it's been going on 5, 6 months now. And, a lot of films have either delayed or canceled their release date. And some just, moving right before they were supposed to actually come out in theater. So, we had a lot of movies, things like Quiet Place Part 2, Fast and Furious 9, No Time to Die. Basically, they mixed all that in the spring. And then other movies like Scoob and Bloodshot and Trolls actually went to video on demand, just so the studios can make that money. Now, here's the thing. That left Marvel Studios' Black Widow in a pretty, precarious situation. Because what's happening is you're getting a lot of fans wanting to see the first solo movie for, Scarlett Johansson, Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow, whatever you want to call her. A lot of people are saying, hey, let's put it on Disney Plus. And then there's other people who said, nah, we're going to wait for the theaters to open up. We got to have it back there in the theater. So it doesn't matter whether or not you want it for streaming or if you want it for theaters. Some things that just went down will let you know that Black Widow can be put on Disney Plus, and the chances of it are just seeming so much greater. They're it's knocking at the door, folks. So this is the deal. We ended up getting the announcement that Mulan is now going to be available on Disney Plus. Now, this is one of the latest movies in the live action reboots. We had Lion King and all that stuff. And it was originally supposed to be out this past March. But with COVID-19 and all that stuff, and with the popularity of Mulan in China, where all this stuff ended up starting, we expected this movie to be, held on tight with theaters. And then once it opens, we get the Mulan thing and all that. Well, not so fast. Because here's the thing. They had an earnings call with Disney. I'm a Disney stockholder, so I was listening to some of it. And what ended up happening is they laid out their whole plan. And they said, hey, we're going to release Mulan on Disney Plus starting September 4th. So the new CEO said the film, it will have elements of video on demand. So basically, you would be able to pay another $30, $29.99 for those who already subscribe. What is it, $7 a month, $12 a month, depending on your package, for Disney Plus. And once you did the film, you would be able to keep it forever as long as you remain subscribed to Disney Plus. Now, the thing is they didn't really say that, hey, non-subscribers, if you don't subscribe to Disney Plus, you won't be able to get it. They didn't say that outright, but that's what it seems to be hinted to. Now, here's the deal. Mulan and Black Widow were pretty much along the same line. Both films were at the end of the aggressive marketing, toys, fast food places, stuff, cereal boxes and all that stuff was getting released. And it was like, okay. Final trailers, TV spots were hitting the airwaves, but nobody could go anywhere. Nobody could go to the theaters. Theaters were not open. Theaters are still not open. So, shifting Mulan to Disney Plus, this is the deal. It's going to allow it to make money. Even though it's going to be behind what they call a paywall. Basically, you subscribe to the website, but you still got to pay for extra content. So, depending on whether this is something that'll work or something that won't work, it could actually be the platform in which Black Widow can make its way to the streaming service to satisfy Marvel fans like us. Now, Disney, they're pretty much putting their foot down and saying this is just a one-off thing. We're only going to do this, but that lets you know it's a test. Okay? Think of this as what they call a premium tier source for them. So basically, this opens the door for streaming platforms to say, hey, you're going to get all this stuff for free with us as long as you subscribe, but we could get you first run things for extra cost so that they can basically make up the money that they're losing by this stuff not being in theaters. So it's kind of strange. It's a juggle. So we really don't know what's going to go down though with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because they are still kind of nebulous as far as what's happening with the Marvel films, what's happening with the Disney Plus releases, and things like that. This is something that people got to realize. This is the biggest gap that we've had in the Marvel Cinematic Universe since Universal released The Incredible Hulk back in 2008. And then we didn't see Iron Man until Iron Man 2 actually, until 2010. So that's a big gap. That's a real big gap in Marvel, Marvel movies. I mean, that's something, it's surprising. So, but think about it. That was in the beginning of it. They took baby steps. Hulk, Iron Man 2, that was the second and third films. Now we got, with 23 films in, they kind of know what's going on. Disney bought Marvel Studios, and, basically that gave us more frequent, production releases in that Marvel movie universe. That's cool. So basically, we're looking at up until 2020, Marvel Studios was, just driving out movies. Basically, 3 movies a year for 3 consecutive years, And even though we only had 2 movies that were supposed to come out this year, the gap would have been only about 10 months between Far From Home, Spider-Man Far From Home, and Black Widow. So that's kind of, some of us are going through withdrawal. So, what's going on? It's almost 400 days, about 404, 403 days since we seen a Marvel movie in the theater. So, if Black Widow can actually get released on November 6th, which is the day, it'll be basically over a year since we have seen a Marvel movie. And it's crazy because last year we had basically 3 movies from Marvel that made $1 billion. You see, and people talk about, we're tired of superhero flicks. It's not that, But if no Marvel content comes out this year, that could cause a hiccup in the momentum of this stuff. This could cause a hiccup in fans caring about the Marvel property. That's the thing. Another thing is Disney Plus is basically, it's lacking. We don't have a lot of original content on Disney Plus. Things are picking up. I mean, we had Hamilton pop up. We got that Beyonce thing. We had The Mandalorian, in and out pretty much. And we're still waiting on the Marvel Cinematic stuff, Falcon and Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Hawkeye, all that stuff is either not finished or it's in post-production and it's not due to be released yet or whatever. Okay? So, if you think about it, Disney they're doing good, but they're not doing good. I mean, look at the competitors. Netflix, it took 6 years before they put out their first original show, because there wasn't a demand for it back in 2013. But now, everybody wants it. So, while we got Disney Plus, they basically walked into the room, they put all their cojones on the table and said, yo, here it goes. But it's been months. It's been a while since we've seen fresh content on Disney. I mean, Hamilton gave it a little boost, but, who's talking about that now? I mean, I did the video. It was great. I was watching it. I love the music, but it's over. It's not something that you're going to keep returning to over and over again. Maybe especially it's not something that's like, oh, that'll tide us over for 6 to 7 months. As fans, as entertainment people, we, especially with the pandemic and not being able to go to theaters and enjoy stuff in the public, we want to see more stuff. Okay? And with the success of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they need to jump on it. They need to jump on it because this will give them more profits. We did do a loss because the theme park's being closed, but it'll give more confidence in the streaming service, especially with the competitors of Netflix and HBO Max, coming out now, and they're throwing a lot of original stuff out at us. So here's the deal. We could delay these movies as much as we want, okay? And, it's a hit or miss. I mean, some movies are in production hell. Some movies are getting delayed forever. Let's take a look at New Mutants from Fox. I mean, they got caught up in all sorts of foolishness, which, surprises me. That should have been on demand or stuck on Disney Plus or hell, even released on a Blu-ray or something by now, because that movie really, I mean, how much longer are we going to wait for a subpar X-Men movie? But that's a whole different story. We also look at, things like, Christopher Nolan's Tenet has been pushed back again. And, that's supposed to be the movie that's going to save movie theaters, and really don't know how that's going to go. So here's the deal. We could get blockbusters. People want to see movies on the big screen. Movie studios want to see movies on the big screen. Movie theaters want to see movies on the big screen. But the way the world is today, it could force a lot of us to continue to go the video on demand route and doing these things off home release options in order for industries to stay alive. And if you think about it, you announce these release dates, it costs money for this. Between television commercials, posters, printing, marketing material, every time you gotta push something, it really bites you in the tail. So having to go ahead and do that, you haven't gotten a handle on it, push it back a couple of more months. We haven't gotten a handle on it, push it back a couple of more months. That's going to cost more and more money just kicking the can down the road is the way I like to call it. Because here you go. Think about it. It's like procrastinating. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'm going to do it tomorrow. Then it becomes a bigger problem, and a bigger problem. So, the same goes in the personal life as it does for these movies. So, if you think about it, look at how things are moving forward. Black Widow, we're waiting for it to hit November 6th. Hopefully, it'll be in theaters. We'll see what's going on. Hopefully, the theaters will be ready. Hopefully, the COVID-19 scares will be down. We'll have a vaccine for it, and life will be great. But if Disney and other, film production studios have to do other things to get movies in theaters, we might have to buckle down. And hey, I know I got a 70-inch big screen. It is what it is. I mean, it's almost like a movie theater in my house. All I got to do is turn the lights out. I just don't get served at my seat at my favorite movie theater, Alamo, which I really hope they can find a way to get out of this. I love it. Oh, man. But anyway, hey, thanks for listening up. This is your boy Onyx at Going Full Nerd. Remember, you can listen live and join in on the conversation every Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com/goingfullnerd. You can catch the podcast soon after the recording is done. You can also call in and leave messages. So, hey, peace, y'all, and I'm out of here.